All right, let me tell you something. Spring training is supposed to be the time where teams ease in, shake off the rust, find their rhythm. But nobody told Paul Goldschmidt that. The man showed up to Steinbrenner Field like it was Game 7 of the World Series, and the Toronto Blue Jays had absolutely no answer for him. Final score, Yankees 8, Blue Jays 7. And honestly, that scoreline makes it sound a lot closer than it actually was for most of this game. So let's get into it, because there's a lot to unpack here. From the jump, the Yankees were in control. Will Warren gets the start on the mound for New York, and he's not blowing anybody away, but he's doing exactly what you want from a spring training starter. 4 hits, 1 run allowed, 4 strikeouts over 2 2/3 innings. He's working through his pitches, he's staying composed, and he gives his team exactly the kind of start they needed to let the offense do its thing. Warren picks up the win, and honestly, he looked pretty sharp out there. Good sign for a guy trying to lock down a rotation spot. Now, Grant Rogers gets the ball for Toronto. 2 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs allowed, and he takes the loss. Not a disaster by any means for spring training standards, but when you look at what was happening on the other side of the ball, it becomes pretty clear that today just wasn't Toronto's day from start to finish. Because here's where it gets interesting. Tyler Rogers comes in to pitch for the Blue Jays in the 3rd inning, and Paul Goldschmidt is waiting for him. And I want you to picture this. It's spring training, the sun is out in Tampa, people are out there enjoying themselves, having a relaxed time, and then Goldschmidt steps in and absolutely crushes a 2-run homer to put the Yankees up 4-1. Just like that. The tone is set, New York is locked in, and they are not playing around. That homer was a statement. You don't hit a ball like that in spring training unless you're feeling it. Unless your timing is dialed in, your hands are quick, your eyes are sharp. Goldschmidt looked like a man on a mission, and 4-1 after 3 innings, you're starting to wonder if this game is already over. But wait, because he's not done. 5th inning, Goldschmidt comes up again, and this time he goes the other way with a 2-run double that pushes the lead all the way out to 6-1. 4 RBIs on the day for Goldschmidt. 4. In a spring training game, the guy is absolutely locked in heading into this season, and if this is any indication of where his head is at, Yankees fans have got to be feeling really good right now. This is a player who knows his role, knows his job, and is going about his business with 0 distractions. That's the kind of veteran presence that wins you baseball games when the real ones start mattering in April. So we're sitting at 7-1 as we get into the 6th inning, and at that point you're thinking Toronto fans are probably heading to get another beer, maybe checking their phones, kind of writing this one off. And honestly, who could blame them? 6-run deficit going into the late innings of a spring training game. Most people are already mentally on to the next one. But then something shifts. The Blue Jays wake up, and they wake up in a big way. Bottom of the 6th, down 7-1, and Carlos Mendoza, not the Yankees manager, different guy, steps up and drives in a run with a single to get things started. Okay, fine, whatever, it's 7-2. But then Charles McAdoo comes up and doubles home 2 more runs. Now it's 7-4. And then McAdoo himself comes around to score on a throwing error. 7-5. Just like that, in the span of a few minutes, this game has completely changed its character. What looked like a blowout is suddenly a 2-run ball game, and now everyone in that stadium is paying attention again. 4 runs in the 6th inning on what was basically nothing. A single, a double, and a throwing error. That's baseball. That's how this game works. You can never ever count a team out, and Toronto made sure everybody remembered that today. Now at this point, the Yankees need to respond, and Jace Avina answers the call. 8th inning, Avina goes deep for a solo home run and pushes the lead back out to 3, 8-5. That's a huge swing, because you could feel the momentum shifting toward Toronto. You could feel that energy building, and Avina just completely takes the air out of it. A solo shot, yeah, but the timing of it is everything. It tells the Blue Jays, hey, we see you coming, but we're not letting you have this one. And then the 9th inning happens. Toronto isn't done. Jake Casey, playing center field for the Blue Jays, steps up with nobody out and absolutely launches a 2-run homer, 8-7. 2-run game, 9th inning, nobody out. If you weren't watching at this point, you missed one of the more entertaining spring training finishes you're going to see all month. Casey's homer had the energy in that stadium completely flipped. Blue Jays fans are going crazy. The players are fired up in the dugout, and suddenly you've got a real ballgame on your hands. But that's when Carson Coleman comes in for New York, and this is what separates good teams from great ones in these moments. You need somebody who can look the situation in the eye and just handle business. Coleman steps on the mound with the tying run at the plate, a 1-run lead, 9th inning, and he proceeds to retire the next 3 batters in order. Just like that, it's over. Coleman picks up the save, and the Yankees walk away with the 8-7 win. That's a guy earning trust right there. That's a guy proving he can handle pressure situations. Because yes, it's spring training, but the mental side of closing out a game when the other team is breathing down your neck, that doesn't change, based on what month it is. Coleman locked in, made his pitches, and got the job done. New York needed that, and he delivered. So, where does this leave both teams? Yankees improved to 3-2 on the spring. They're not perfect, but they've got weapons. Goldschmidt is swinging the bat like a man rejuvenated. The bullpen showed some fight, and Will Warren gave them a quality start. There's a lot to build on here. Toronto drops to 1-3. And look, spring training records don't mean everything. Everyone knows that, but 1-3 is not where you want to be. The offense showed some life in that comeback. And that's genuinely encouraging. 4 runs in the 6th inning doesn't just happen by accident. There's something in that group that's capable of stringing together big innings when they get going. The issue is they dug themselves way too deep of a hole to climb all the way out of. The Blue Jays are heading to Lakeland on Wednesday to face the Detroit Tigers, and they absolutely need to get in the win column and start building some momentum, because right now the vibe around that club needs a spark, and getting a clean win against Detroit would do a lot for the confidence of a group that's shown flashes but hasn't been able to put a full game together yet. What this game really showed me is that the Yankees came in with a level of focus and sharpness that you don't always see this early in spring training. Goldschmidt set the tone from the jump, and that kind of leadership from a veteran presence is invaluable. When your first baseman comes out guns blazing in early March and is driving in 4 runs like it's a playoff game, that sends a message to the rest of the locker room. It says we are not here to coast, we are here to compete every single day. Toronto's comeback reminded everyone why you play all 9 innings, and that 9th inning had real drama in it. Casey's homer was the kind of moment that could easily carry some momentum into their next game if they let it. A moral victory isn't a real victory, but the fight they showed in that second half of the game is worth something if they can channel it properly. Bottom line, Paul Goldschmidt was the story today. 4 RBIs, a home run, a double, and a performance that had everyone talking. The Yankees win 8-7 in a spring training game that ended up being a lot more entertaining than most people probably expected. And as we get deeper into March, keep your eye on both of these clubs, because things are just getting started.